Everyone. In this video, we'll be continuing from economic analysis. So we have already talked about the meaning and what are the various things that are associated as factors while doing economic analysis. So now let's move on to the techniques used in economic analysis. So first one is the anticipatory surveys. So you see, much of the activities, like various activities, which are carried out by the government or the corporates or business houses or industries, these things are planned in advance, and these things are in a form of budgets. So consumers also, they what they do is, they while when they get a particular income, when they think that they are going to get a particular income, most of the people make a planned expenditure. Most of them think that they're going to incur that expenditure in such a way. So, to the extent possible, these plans or budgets which the government or the people or individual as such prepares, they try to adhere to it up to a certain extent possible. But sometimes it may not be possible for them to adhere to it because of certain contingencies and maybe because of unrealistic estimates. So here, similarly, an anticipatory survey is also a survey of intentions of what people would like to do in future, or in the government, or the business houses, industries, regarding various construction activities, plant and machinery expenditure, level of inventory, etc. So such surveys include the future plans of consumers with regard to their spending on durables and non-durables. You will find such surveys being made by various organizations, which help in understanding what would be the future uh, process of expenditure, what's the future expenditure plan of various sectors in the economy. So based on these results, the analysts can form certain forecasts of the future state of the economy. So one thing is that it is basically regarding the plans and thoughts which are made by government or business houses or individuals. So this is basically an anticipatory and an assumed expenditure or an assumed thing which will be occurring in future, but in reality it may not be true. So one of the shortcoming or one of the disadvantage of here in this anticipatory survey is that there is no guarantee that these intentions which were surveyed earlier will become true or will materialize in future. Next, we have barometric or indicator approach. So, in this particular approach, it's a sort of economic forecasting, and various types of indicators are studied to find out how the economy is actually to perform in the future. So these indicators are related to time series, or you can say that these indicators are based on time series data of certain economic variables. So one important thing is that these indicators are classified in three important indicators. One is, you can see here, one is the leading indicator. The leading indicator. Then we have coincidental indicators, or we can say roughly coincidental indicators, or lagging indicators. So leading indicators, it means the leading indicators are those time series data that reach their highest points, or you can say the peak points, or their lowest points, or the low points. Like you have seen the industry cycle, or like how the economic cycle, that there's a peak point and there is a bottom point. So they can reach the high points and the low points in advance of the high points and the low points of the total economy at large. So leading indicators means the time series data, or the data that reach the highest points, that is the peaks, or the lowest points, that is the troughs, in advance to the high points and the low points of the economy at large. So you must know that there is a particular way through which the economy functions. Like there is a cycle like this. If you draw a line, you can see that This is the peak point, this is the trough point or the low point. This is the high point, this is the trough point. Similarly, this is the high point, this is the trough point. So this is the cycle of the trade cycle of the economy. Now what happens is that the leading indicators reach these positions earlier to what is happening in the economy. So before the economy reaches this highest point, before the economy reaches this highest point, the leading indicators will reach this point earlier to it. Or in case the economy is going down, then the leading indicators will reach this point earlier to the actual economy. That means certain items in the economy or certain aspects in the economy will reach this point earlier to the entire economy at large. So these are called leading indicators. Then we have coincidental indicators or roughly coincidental indicators. So coincidental indicators reach their peaks or these troughs, so the highest points or the lowest points at approximately at the same time as that of the economy at large. So you understand? Like in this case, in case of leading indicators, the indicators reaches the highest point or the lowest point earlier to the economy at large. Roughly coincidental indicators means they reach the points, that is the highest point and the lowest point, or at any point in the same time, approximately the same time when the entire economy reaches there. So if the entire economy is going up, these roughly coincidental indicators will also go up in the same time. Then we have lagging indicators. Lagging indicators means these points or the lowest point or highest point will be reached only after the economy at large has reached that particular point. That means they lag behind or they reach the particular points only after the entire economy has reached that particular, not the entire economy, but the economy at large has reached that particular point, and then only these indicators will reach that particular point. So this method is therefore called a barometric approach to indicate the future level of economic activity. So just by looking at these indicators, we can assume what could be the future level of activity in the economy. So in case of some examples in relation to like leading indicators, I mean, we can have money supply. So money supply is a leading indicator, which is also known as M2. So money supply can be considered as a leading indicator because the amount of money supply will be either in a highest point or a lowest point or at a particular point, or that particular amount of supply which is going on in the economy or which is circulated in the economy, that amount would signify what direction the economy is going. So this is a leading factor. Then we have S&P, BSE or Sensex stock prices. So these are also leading indicators because these points or these stock prices, these index stock prices indicate in which direction the economy is going. They will be going, suppose they are reaching at a particular point at this point, suppose at the lowest point. So that would indicate in the near future the economy is also going little down. So one more item can be sensitive prices of materials. So there may be various materials or items, precious stones, where the prices may become very high at a certain point or become very down at a certain point, indicating to which direction the economy is going. Next, we have roughly coincidental indicators. So roughly coincidental indicators means there may be some examples like manufacturing and trade sales. So in case of manufacturing, what happens? In whatever direction the economy is going, if the economy is at a very high point, the manufacturing will also be high. If the economy is at a very low point, the manufacturing will also go down. Then we have index of industrial production. So index of industrial production means these are items which would be going in hand with the economy. The better the economy, the better would be the industrial production. The poorer the economy, the poorer would be the industrial production. So these things are coincidental indicators. Then we have lagging indicators. So lagging indicators means some examples like the rate of unemployment. So average duration of unemployment, you can say. So after the economy has reached a particular point, then only you'll find that the unemployment has risen. There may be outstanding loans which might not be able on the part of individuals or corporates to return back because of the low performance or the economy going down. So these are certain items which are lagging behind. Only after the economy has reached certain point, then only the results are found. So we have, like I've said, unemployment, then we have outstanding loans in case of banks and industries, then we have consumer price index and inflation or deflation. So these things come only after the economy has reached a certain point. Then we have another method of technique in economic analysis. This is econometric model building approach, or we can say econometric model building. So, this is one of the most precise and clear. Like here you need to know the econometrics. Basically, it is basically a precise and clear relationship between a dependent and independent variables, right? So, through this technique, we try to estimate what would be the reaction or what would be the position of an independent variable when one particular or two particular items are changed. Like suppose we consider this independent variable. Based on this independent variable, how would the dependent variable change? So this is basically an econometric thing where interrelationships are drawn of different economic variables. Like suppose we have employment and demand. Then we have uh, we may have the GDP and growth. So there may be various factors which are interrelated, and based on this, we can assume how these things will affect the economy. The change in a particular item will affect the economic variables of other items or in the country at large. So this is one technique through which the economy can be analyzed, and thus the investors or analysts can make predictions about the future. So this is all about the techniques that are used in economic analysis. Next, we would move on to the industry analysis. So we'll be talking about that in the next video. Thank you so much.